Hello, everyone. So sorry, a little bit late today, almost 10 minutes behind. See y'all here in the chat. I love it. All right. Hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to Monday Masterclass with your girl, Nat, Coach Nat, the Keto Bikini Pro. Y'all, I literally just ran in from the gym, made my notes while I was in the parking lot of the gym. I'm being reminded these days of the first world problem I had or the first world luxury I had of being able to walk to the gym. And our gym closed at the end of last month. So we are at a new gym, got to get in the car, drive there, drive home. All that being said, these Monday classes will probably have a time change coming soon. So we'll call it a little daylight savings time Monday Masterclass style. So I'm thinking I'll move the time back to 5:30 or 6 p.m. Eastern. So I will keep you all posted of those changes. But without further ado, let's just dive into tonight's topic. I am curious because this week I did not tell you exactly what I was going to be talking about tonight. So I said that tonight's class is about the secret to better results from your workouts. Does anybody have any guesses about what that secret just might be? Mary Grace doesn't get to answer because she already knows. But if you all had to guess, all right, what is the one thing that is absolutely central key to you getting the best results out of the workouts that you do? Give me some guesses on what you think it will be. Ooh, okay, I got some good ones in here already. Consistency. Recovery. Ooh, Becky, I like that. Okay. We got consistency to show up, consistency, showing up. We've got a lot of themes here. Okay. These are all really important, really amazing things. But what I'm going to teach tonight is actually, if you have consistency, if you are showing up frequently, consistently, and you don't have this thing, good luck getting results out of your workouts. As a matter of fact, I would love to hear it. Tell me if this has ever been you. You've been that girl going to the gym 4 days, 5 days, 6 days a week, going to the classes, or what, usually it's the classes. I'm going to get in on the classes in a little bit, but taking these workout classes, working up a sweat, and then you never see the fruits of your efforts. You're not seeing the muscle on your body. You're not feeling toned. What the heck am I getting anything out of this? I've been going here for years. I used to go to those classes. I used to go to classes with my cousin, and I would see everybody in there, just moving around, sweating, having fun. They do it week in, week out, year in, year out. She's been going to the gym with the same ladies for years, and they all still look exactly the same. Yeah, no changes, not creating any changes in their bodies with the workouts that they're doing. Somebody got it here. They didn't get the exact word I'm going to use tonight, but it is in the ballpark, baby. All right, let's see. A plan. Okay, that's good. That's a good one because you could be doing random workouts, right? And you're not getting that adaptation that you want. I saw another similar one, progressive overload. Those two things go hand in hand, kind of. Well, they should. A good progressive plan and then training with progressive overload, absolutely. Progressive overload would probably be the number 2 thing. So after this thing I'm going to talk about tonight, diet, absolutely. That, now I will say, although tonight's class is not going to be about diet, but in general, that phenomenon I talked about, very much likely the case that diet is at play there, right? When you're working out day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out, and you're not getting results, a lot of the time diet is a huge component of that, because what do we see in those, especially in those fitness classes? Work for your pizza, earn your beer, and then it's always on the weekends, blowing it out, and then not getting the best progress because not focused on the right nutritional concepts that help drive the muscle building and fat loss. So absolutely all those things are really key. Whitney, intensity, very, very close to this concept. Also along those same lines of the progressive overload, intensity goes into it. I would say intensity is a component or a next step probably from what I'm going to talk about tonight. But the closest guess here is, I'm going to put it up on the screen. Oh no, I lost it. Where is it? There it is. Ty Massimo. Is that how I pronounce? Am I pronouncing your name right? Ty Massimo, got it. Now there is a term that very closely connects with mind-muscle connection. So mind-muscle connection, I will definitely be talking about tonight. But the concept that even goes before that and really drives mind-muscle connection is tonight's whole class. Oh, it's Kim. What up, Kim? Go, Kim. Okay, I love it. Kimberly Moss. Heck yeah. One of my bosses inside the academy right now, crushing it. And Kim is such a great example of what I'm going to talk about tonight. She has been posting form check videos every week, every workout. And that is a very key component of what I'm going to talk about tonight. So without further ado, the word we are looking for here is proprioception. Has anybody heard this term before? Proprioception. Have you heard that anywhere? Is anybody familiar with it? Drop me a comment. Let me know if you've heard that term before. The term proprioception, can anybody tell me what it means without Googling it? Without Googling the definition, can anyone tell me what proprioception means? Or do you have any guesses? Aaron says, I heard it, but don't ask me what it means. This was, for anybody who has ever taken a personal training course, certification, this is one of the first things you learn. Yes, oh, I love this. Okay, I'm gonna pop this one up there. I think that's Giovanna over there, I'm guessing. Jehovah's. It's feeling your own body. It's very, very, very much along those lines, yes. Juliana got it as well. There it is. Knowing where your body is in space. Yes, indeed. Oh, Whitney is coming through. It's something about fully understanding the movement and where your body is and moves in space. Yes, yes, yes. Y'all are killing it. I love it. I love it. Where your body is. Okay, so basically the concept is, I'll give you the definition. The definition of proprioception is perception or awareness of the position and movement of the body. And you all nailed it here. The key, though, with proprioception, perception or awareness of the position and movement of the body. I like to just call it body awareness or spatial awareness. The awareness, the connection, and it all has to do with your peripheral nervous system. So y'all hear me talk a lot of the time about the central nervous system, the CNS. It's what drives and creates all of the movement in our body. Our hands and feet can't move without the central nervous system, right? There's something called the peripheral nervous system. It's the nerves that go everywhere out of our body outside of the brain and the spinal cord. So peripheral nervous system is the PNS, is really what drives all of our movements in our body. So this concept of mind-muscle connection is so fully integrated with proprioception. If you do not have that awareness of the position of your body, how your body is moving in space, how exactly you are moving your body and the muscles in your body you're not going to have that mind-muscle connection that is so very key to getting the adaptations we want to get when we are resistance training. So the big question, why does proprioception matter to bodybuilding, body sculpting, body recomp, resistance training? Okay, here's the reasons why you absolutely need good, proper proprioception. And then we'll get into some examples and how you can actually improve your proprioception. Because many of you might be saying, okay, yeah, duh, got to have some body awareness. The truth is, the grand majority of people do not have proprioception, at least not well-tuned proprioception. So you may think you know what your body is doing in space, but many times you do not. And this is the power of these video form checks in a online coaching space. I will see you all doing things, and I can tell, and Coach Mary Grace will be in there giving you cues, because the basic easiest way to understand it is if you're watching a video of a professional doing a movement and you were to see yourself doing that movement side by side the professional, what you would notice is you are doing something different. There is something you are doing with your body that doesn't match the way you are supposed to be doing that movement. And if you are not doing the movement properly, you're not going to get the adaptations that you're seeking from the work that you're putting in. So the truth is that most people could stand to greatly improve their spatial awareness, their body awareness. So, okay, why is it so important in resistance training? I touched on some of these, but the biggest things is that without proper proprioception, you will create muscle and or movement imbalances. Meaning, you may be activating the wrong muscles in a movement. You may have an overactive muscle, an underactive muscle, and you continuously train these patterns without recognizing that there's something you need to correct in that movement, and then you end up with these muscular imbalances, okay? Or mechanical imbalances. You can, in the worst case, cause injuries or exacerbate existing injuries without recognizing how my body is moving, how am I feeling my body, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Is there something that I need to adjust to properly execute this movement without causing harm? And these are the kinds of things that are very difficult to teach someone how to connect with, right? Because I can give you all the cues about how to do the movement correctly, but you have to be able to connect to your body and recognize when you're not doing that correctly, because you are the one in your body, right? So this was such strong on my heart and something I wanted to talk about, because obviously what I do for a living is online training, coaching. I have to rely on clients having proprioception to be able to get the most out of the program that I write for them, because I'm not there right there with them doing it. I'm not seeing them doing it. I'm not able to touch their body and move their limbs and make sure that they understand what I'm asking them to do in real time, like a personal trainer in person. This is just another reason why I always encourage, if you've never worked with a personal trainer in person at your gym or at your home, getting a few sessions with a personal trainer, even just a few, to really have them be able to be there in person with you and do those things. Because when a trainer can actually touch the muscles and help you to connect with them, with your nervous system, then it can change the game. And I was very grateful that I did that early on in my journey, because there was a bunch of movement pattern corrections that I needed. And had I not gotten those early, I could have ended up with all kinds of injuries and imbalances. So, and then finally, the thing I've already touched on, you can be totally wasting your time with your workouts, because you're not going to get the results, because you're not engaging the muscles and creating the proper adaptations from your activity. So that mind-muscle connection comes into play here. If you're not able to connect to the muscle, feel it working, recognizing when you're working that muscle and when you're working a different muscle, then you're not going to be able to properly activate that muscle and grow that muscle. And y'all, I tell you, these classes, I just see a lot of jumping around and no perception of what you're doing. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of exercise classes for that reason. All right, here's another key that I wanted to point out as it relates to proprioception. I see a lot of chat in my Facebook group on the interwebs of I do functional fitness because I like to garden. I like to play pickleball. I like to play tennis. I go out for a run. I take walks. Okay, active hobbies and leisure activities are great. Active leisure activities, active hobbies are amazing. I think we all need to have those. We don't want to be sitting around in our day-to-day life and then only going to do a workout and then sitting around for the rest of the day and the night. It's great to have active hobbies, but active hobbies are not the same as exercise. Very different, okay? Active hobbies do not typically require mindfulness of moving with intention and focus. So when we are doing these hobbies repetitively, because we love them, we enjoy them, we have all these repetitive motions, repetitive movements without intention and focus on how we are moving when we're doing those activities, that can lead to injury or a chronic imbalance over time that can lead to an injury later on down the road, or overuse, underuse, all of that kind of a thing. So when you're resistance training, you wouldn't just walk up and start slinging the weights around. Whereas when you're focused on your hobby, you're thinking about the hobby and you're not thinking about how are my muscles moving. Hopefully you wouldn't just go into the gym and start slinging weights around. We've all seen that gym bro doing that. And it's an injury waiting to happen. So, but as I mentioned earlier with these classes, when we join the fitness classes, they are not intended, the grand majority of them are not intended to teach us how to properly execute the movements and to give us one-on-one attention so that we can correct and fix things and make sure that we're moving with intention. A lot of the time, these classes, you go in there, you're not moving with intention. And now you're engaging in exercise without intention, and that's even worse. And so the last thing I want any of you to do is start a strength training program, a resistance training program, and not move with intention, not have that proprioception, that awareness of where your body is in space and how it's moving and whether or not you're activating the proper muscles. Okay, so as I mentioned, most people don't have great proprioception. I will say, dancers are taught this intimately. I am blessed and grateful that I came up as a dancer because there is no better example of what I'm about to describe about how you can actually improve your body awareness than a ballet class. You are surrounded by mirrors and instructors who are coming by and personally correcting every little thing that you are doing that is out of alignment. Alignment is discussed a lot in ballet classes. You must learn proper alignment. And everything in ballet has a position, and it's a very intricate positioning of your feet, your head, your arms, your core, your legs, of course. And so every little thing is scrutinized, it is pulled out, you are corrected. You can see in surround sound, you can see in 3D because you've got 3 different walls of mirrors, at least 2 walls of mirrors. And you've got an entire class doing the exact same movements at the exact same time. So you are very, very aware, or you become very aware very quickly in your first few years of recognizing all of those little things. As a matter of fact, when I went back to classes as an adult after I graduated high school, after I started working in my 20s, my late 20s, actually, in my early 30s, I moved so much better than I did when I was in high school dancing or in college dancing, because I had this maturity, and it was like a different level of awareness of my body than I had when I was still a teen. So, and I didn't grow up dancing from like 2 years old. Now, most dancers, if they grew up from 2 years old in ballet all the way up, that is just ingrained in them by the time they even become a teenager. But I didn't start until I was a preteen. So for me, it was this immature, brain body connection, proprioception, really. But the training really helped. And then when I came back as an adult, it was even more so, even more pronounced. I found all my movements just happened more effortlessly because a lot of that was already ingrained, and I had a deeper awareness of my body. So, all right, some things you can do to improve your proprioception. I mentioned this earlier, but the big thing, and the thing that I am on a soapbox on inside the academy and with the prep program and all the programs that we do, is to study the movement videos, study the exercise videos, the demos. And if you're not following somebody else's program and you don't have videos to watch to see how the movement is executed, and you are putting together your own program, or you've pulled a program from bodybuilding.com or online somewhere, and you don't have videos as a part of that program, something I've always done whenever I've been given a program without videos attached to it, I will go and I will YouTube search for each exercise in my program, and I will find videos that have in-depth explanations of how the execution, how the movement should be executed. So study demo videos of the movement, and especially the more in-depth, longer ones. I know this takes time, y'all, but guess what? Like, especially for those of you who are just starting, like if you're already not following a program, and there's a lot of you out there have seen this like fear of getting started, right? If you're already not following a program, you could take the time that you would be following a program and start learning just a few basic exercises. And then you can start there. You could start with just squats. That would be the best, honestly, the best start if you're not currently doing any resistance training, to study the squat, geek out on all of the videos you can find about how to properly execute a squat with whatever equipment, body weight to start with, and just practice those 3 times a week. Then you could add on another exercise. Okay, now I want to practice learning how to get a push-up, and then I'll add that in. So I'll do squats and push-ups 3 times a week. If you were to do that and just build a few basic exercises in there, and there are a few basic ones when it comes to bodybuilding, we're talking about the compound lifts. So squats, deadlifts. I would put in there pull-ups and push-ups would be amazing. Overhead press or shoulder presses, and bench press, chest press. Few basic exercises. You could study those and give yourself a whole program, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 20 weeks, just mastering those movements. So that's kind of one of our mantras inside the academy, is to master the movement. When we release programs, it's a 6-week program at a time, and then we'll switch to a new program. So you have 6 weeks to practice the same exercises week after week. And we have lots of alternates, so you can always play with new equipment, trying these movements in different ways. Juju will remember earlier today we were chatting about the alternates and how, no, what were we saying about the, now I forgot it. You might remind me. Dang. Okay, that's crazy how that just left my mind. But going back to how you can improve your body awareness, study the videos. Now, it's not as simple as just studying the videos, because when you are trying to improve your proprioception, watching somebody else do the movement is not enough. Okay, so I just shouted out Kim for posting her form checks. It can be very scary to take a video of yourself and post it for others to see, especially in a group environment, which is what we have going on in there. Now, private clients of mine get to submit those privately to me. So I'm the only one seeing them and I can give them private feedback. But when you're in a group environment, posting it for the group can be a little intimidating, a little scary. So a lot of our ladies just I always encourage them to at least go in and watch the other ladies' videos, the ladies who are posting, and watch what the coach's feedback is for them and what the cues are that we're giving them so that you can learn that for yourself. Now, it can be very scary to take those videos, but let's say you're doing this on your own, or even if you are in a group, if you're in the academy and you haven't built up the courage to post a video yet, take a video for yourself. And this is going to be the best way you can train proprioception, because a lot of the time in strength training, we don't want to be looking in a mirror, right? In ballet, we live for the mirror. But even in ballet, there are movements where we're not going to be able to see ourselves if we are doing the movement correctly. And that's the way it is with a lot of strength training. You're not always going to be able to see yourself in a mirror. It's not always going to be beneficial to be looking at the mirror, because you need to maintain, one thing that's very important is maintaining a neutral spine position. So we don't want you to be down in a deadlift and doing this so that you can look up at the mirror. We don't want you to be looking down or looking over at the mirror when we need your head in a neutral position. So it's not always beneficial. The mirror can be a great first step, though, especially for things that you can easily do that. If you're trying to do a new kind of bicep curl, for example, we're doing waiter curls in the program right now, which are kind of tricky. You can look in the mirror to see if you're doing that properly. Granted, if you wanted to get all the angles, now you're going to have to turn your head, and that's not ideal. So taking videos of yourself, and particularly in different angles. So take a front view video, side view, back view, and study your own videos. As I mentioned at the beginning of the class, study your video alongside the professional video so you can make the connections. Oh, I notice, and look at it as if you were looking at an intricate drawing or diagram. Look at it as if you were seeking Waldo, okay? Where's Waldo? Play Where's Waldo with your videos. Pull up the professional video, pull up your video side by side, and notice, oh, my back is at a different angle than his. His knee is bent and mine is straight in that position. I need to bend my knee. Start to make those connections of the little intricate differences that you're noticing between your body and the professional's body in the video. And that is best done by watching video and not trying to look at yourself in the mirror. Then what you want to do is take that feedback you got from studying your videos back and recognizing the cues. And then when you're doing the exercise the next time, practice connecting to those cues. Is my back straight? Am I rounded? Is my leg straight? Is my knee bent? Do a little body scan when you're doing your exercise. Notice, without even having to know all the intricacies of the movement and where everything is supposed to be as it's listed in the instructions, but just do a body scan for yourself to recognize, okay, when I'm doing bent over rows, where is my head? Where is my neck? What position is my neck in? Is my arm tracking right next to my torso? What position is my back? What position are my legs? What position are my feet? Just notice where your whole entire body is in space. And then the next piece of that mind-muscle connection is truly understanding, with every exercise you're doing, what muscles should I be feeling in this exercise? For those in the academy, we have a spreadsheet they can look at that has the muscles being worked. And inside the program in the app, it also lists which muscle is being worked, the primary muscle that's being worked in that particular exercise. So if you're not sure, if you're doing exercises just because it's a part of a program, or just because it sounds like a good idea, or it's something that you see people do, Do you know which muscles are supposed to be activated in that movement? A lot of the time I see tricep kickbacks when you're supposed to be doing rows, or I see rows when you're supposed to be doing tricep kickbacks. One of those is for lats and the other one is for triceps. Okay. Juliana reminded me of our chat earlier today. Perfect segue from what I'm talking about now. Different, can I, if I don't remember all the alternates and I just need to pick something to do and I don't have a lot of time, could I just do, this was a really clear, really good example, leg curls versus leg extensions. They are working two opposing muscle groups, two totally different muscles. Leg curls are going to work on your hamstrings. Leg extensions are going to work on your quads. So in our program right now, for example, we have a more hamstring and glute focused lower body day, and we have a quad focused lower body day. So if you were to substitute leg curls with leg extensions, now you're going to be hitting your quads again in the next workout, and your hamstrings didn't get what they needed. So it's just an example of, I said to her, my advice to her today was, when you find yourself in that situation where you're short on time and you just want to do something to get it in, think about the muscle groups that we were focused on working on that day. So even if you're not doing your exact scheduled workout, you could say, okay, I know it's glutes and hamstrings. What are the exercises I can do for glutes and hamstrings? It may not be the exact type of movement pattern that we're working. For instance, a hip thrust and a deadlift are very similar, but they are different. You're getting the hip hinge in both of them, but they are working the muscles differently. Something else, we're playing with glute ham raises right now, and Nordic curls, which are crazy difficult, but they are pure hamstring exercises. However, if you were to do the movement incorrectly, you might be doing glute hyperextensions instead. And then you're going to feel it all in the glutes and not in the hamstrings, or at least not as much in the hamstrings. So these are just kind of some examples of, once you're really aware of your body in space, then you can start to connect to, well, is this where I'm supposed to be in space? And am I activating the muscles intended by this exercise? So y'all know, just like I am with nutrition, I don't give meal plans. I'm very much about, I want you to learn how to put together meals that help you reach your goals. It's the same thing here. I can give you a program, but I would much rather you understand what we're doing in the program. I want to educate you about why we're choosing the exercises we're choosing. What I love about the current platform that I use, the EverFit platform, the app that we use, we have very tightly controlled alternate exercises, meaning you can't go rogue and just pick any old exercise to swap out for an exercise we have in the program. That is for a reason. Not only do I want you to be executing a particular type of movement pattern for that particular body part, and in that particular angle, and then we are going to switch it again in 6 weeks. So if you do a different variation than what we have listed in the alternates, then the next 6 weeks, you may end up continuing to work on that same variation you chose to do rather than what we were doing in the program. And it's always intended to, when I switch the programs, to hit the muscles in different angles, in different ways. So I like to not only be able to tightly control those alternates so that all of your optional alternate exercises are hitting the muscle the same way. But also, and this is kind of like a built-in educational resource for those who are doing the program, I want you to get to know the alternate exercises. So even if you're choosing the same exercise every time, what would be amazing, and I'll tell you what has made a massive difference in my journey, because I've always trained in commercial gyms. So especially for those working in commercial gyms, but also for my ladies who have home gyms, this would be beneficial for you as well. When you know what other exercises you can go to achieve the same thing you're trying to achieve, You will never be without an option. Oh, you're traveling. You have nothing but your body weight. Well, if you understand the mechanics of the movements, you will know how to put together a full body workout, a quad workout, a hamstring workout, tricep workout, because you'll understand. So for my ladies in the academy here with me today, make sure, even if you're doing all of the main exercises, take a look at the alternate exercises that are in there and just start to get familiar with how you could swap things out and why. This is what I'm working here, and these are the other options. All right, Erin, I missed this. Are we talking about activating the right muscles on the lunge? We're talking about activating the right muscles on anything. But lunges were a hot topic today in the app. So lunges are such another great example. Lunges are something that very easily your quads can take over, especially my ladies. A lot of us tend to be quad dominant. So our quads will just dive in and jump in and take on all of the load. And then all of a sudden our quads are burning and we're not feeling anything in our glutes. So, a game changer for me was discovering how to do a lunge that is glute biased versus a lunge that is quad biased. Understanding that, y'all, it changed the game for me. Many of you say all the time to me that you hate lunges. Everybody always hates lunges. I don't know. I think lunges are probably the most hated, and Bulgarian split squats would be right along there with them, but it's the same type of movement pattern. So there you go. Split squats and lunges are basically the same thing, in case you didn't know. Split squats are basically lunges that are stationary. You're not moving. So lunge is the actual movement. Lunge is when you're stepping out and stepping back. You're lunging that way. If you're staying in one place and you're going into what looks like a lunge, like a stationary lunge, that is called a split squat. You're basically squatting with a split stance. So that's why it's called that. And there are all kinds of variations on how you can do any of them. But I always hated lunges because my quads would burn so badly and I would never feel it in my glutes. And when I learned to connect with the glutes, and there's a few simple cues, but if they're not dialed in and if you don't have that proprioception, you could execute the cues without still properly connecting to the muscles, so that you are engaging your glutes. Because when I first started practicing this with walking lunges, I'd get a few reps, a few steps in, and then I would boop, there go my quads taking over again. So it's definitely something that you need to be very focused and intentional about, following the cues to make it a glute biased exercise. Same thing with step ups. And we had those in our last program. And that was something that I shared, how to create the angle that you want to create to make it more glute dominant. And some of the cues there, making it more of a step down rather than a step up. Because here's a quick little tip you can take away from this. For quads, the more upright you are in any movement is going to be more quad. So think about, for those of you who are familiar with hack squats, the hack squat machine puts you in an up and down motion. That is all quad. Same thing with the step ups. When you're stepping straight up and down onto the platform, that's going to be a lot of quad pulling you up. And then lunges, same idea. If you are keeping your back upright in a lunge and you're just going up and down, that's going to be more quad. Glute, here's how you can remember it. Think of an angle. If your body looks like this in space, it's going to be more glute dominant. What do I mean by this? Your hip flexors. You're bending at the hip flexors. So all of our hinge movements, think about deadlift, glute bridge, hip thrust. You can do the lunges this way too. So The difference being quad dominant lunge, straight up and down. Back of their chair. Right? This bad boy's taken over. Glute dominant. I have now a hinge in my hips. I'm now in an angle. And when I go down now, my body is a little bit forward. See the stretch in the glute? Glute stretches. Woo! I just felt that. 1 rep, baby. So that's a big difference. Great follow-up question, Erin. Does platform height matter? So here's how it does matter. When the higher the platform, the more upright you're going to have to be able to get up on the platform or down off the platform. So right now in our program, we have reverse lunges. So you're stepping back off of the platform. Whereas in the last program, we had step ups, which you were stepping up onto the platform. So in either case, step ups or lunges or split squats, Bulgarians, all of these things, the higher the platform, the more upright you have to be. You're just not going to be able to hit this angle on a platform as well when it's higher. So a lower platform will help you be a little more glute dominant because you can get more of that flexion. Yeah, great question. Anybody else have any other questions about proprioception in general, about mind-muscle connection? Yeah, that's all the notes I had. So let's see. What y'all got? Any other exercise questions? We should probably, maybe we could do a exercise Q&A about specific exercises. Y'all can ask about which muscle this particular exercise is supposed to hit. We haven't done just an open Q&A in a while, have we? Might be time for one. I think we have one more. Is there only one more week left in March? We do. Next week is the last week in March. Oh my goodness, y'all. April Fool's Day is on a Monday. That means Monday Masterclass on April Fool's. I'm a little worried about that. I wonder if I can fool y'all about something. Would y'all know if I did a Masterclass and then at the very end I just said, just kidding, all that was not true? That would be kind of mean, wouldn't it? I don't think I want to do that. Oh, fun question, Juju. What's your favorite muscle? Oh my goodness. On who? Because I have my favorite muscles on me, my favorite muscle to train, and my favorite muscle on Bronson. I don't know if you want to know that one, but I will say, okay, my favorite muscle of mine and my favorite muscle to train, still after all these years, it's never changed. It is the delts, and I'm flexing my biceps. It is the delts. Shoulders, baby. I love shoulders. I love training shoulders. I love growing shoulders. I love having shoulders. My fave. I really want like even bigger, more capped delts next time I get lean. Of course, I do also love glutes. I mean, what woman doesn't love training glutes and like to have some big old muscular glutes? So glutes and shoulders. I mean, I am a bikini pro, so that is kind of our lives, our glutes and shoulders. It's all about glutes and shoulders. Glutes and shoulders are what win bikini competitions. So for my ladies who want to build that bikini proportions, focus on your shoulders and your glutes. And that's what the judges like to see, that big wrap, rounded cap delts, and then big round peaches. And then I really love biceps on a man. So I do love to grab Bronson's biceps and his chest muscles. And he can do the little, I still cannot do that with my pecs. He can make his pecs jump, and I love that. All right, ladies, this was a good one. We kept it a little bit under an hour this time. Oh, we got another question. Let's see. Oh, Mary Grace, what you got? How about my question from earlier today? My CNS was kicking in on the glute, hamstrings, and putting my hands down before I would have preferred. Any way to work through the resistance? Did I miss a statement in here? Let's see. BOSU, okay, thank you. I was like, what? The BOSU glute hamstring raises. Oh, CNS. Yeah, CNS taking over. All right. Yeah, great. Ooh, I'm so glad you brought this up because related to proprioception, our central nervous system is our limiting factor most of the time when it comes to what we are capable of doing physically. So especially for newbies, we notice newbies get all kinds of gains. We call it newbie gains, not just in the muscle growth, but in strength improvements. We see massive strength improvements in newbies. That's not because their muscles are adapting that quickly and they're just gaining all this pure strength. It's because their central nervous system is adapting and recognizing, oh, I can do more, I can do more. And so central nervous system really drives our capabilities in our training. Our muscles, in case y'all didn't know, can do a lot more than we think they can. It's this that stops us. So great question. The glute ham raises, Nordic curls, any variation of this thing. Very, very difficult because it is putting all of that pressure on your hamstrings. So basically, her central nervous system was kicking in and making her bail on the movement sooner than she would have liked to get all of the good hamstring activation, better hamstring activation. So a couple things you can do. Well, a part of it is just going to be that, pushing up from the floor when you have put your hands down too soon, pushing back up and trying to catch with those hamstrings as quickly as possible, not letting yourself rest for too long. But I'll give you my trick that I posted in the group the other day and on my Instagram story, and that's using a band for assistance can be really beneficial here because it's kind of that fear of falling, because if you don't put your hands down and your hamstrings don't support you all the way through that movement, you will fall face plant on the floor, right? So your brain is like, yikes, we're gonna face plant, bail. I love the bands because you don't have to actually use the bands to resist. If you saw, I know she saw my video. I wrapped the bands around a pole behind me, and I had my feet against the post, and I was doing the BOSU version as well. But the bands were there for me, so I kind of held them out like this, and they were there, but I wasn't using them until I needed to use them, which was like all the way when I let myself get all the way close to the ground, almost facing the ground. That's when, if I needed them to pull me back up, then I created tension in the bands and I pulled myself back up. Now, you're gonna have to test the band to make sure it's the right resistance so that it doesn't let you face plant. You don't want it to be too long of a band or too light of a band that the resistance is not enough to pull you up if you need it. So test it out first. But that should give your CNS that kind of insurance to say, we're okay, we're not going to face plant. And then you can practice it without, with or without using tension in the band until you get really good at it. And then your hamstrings build up the strength beyond the CNS to be able to hold you without it. And then you can do it without that CNS kind of fear response kicking in. So that would be my suggestion there. Bye, Whitney. She's going for a walk with the babies. All right, ladies, anything else? Good questions this week. I love it. Also, drop in the group and let me know your requests suggestions for future topics. Woo, woo, woo. All right, ladies, I'm going to call it a night. I'm loving the sun staying out later, although it's throwing me for a loop a little bit. It is dinner time. So I'm going to go make some steak. Y'all have a wonderful night. Drop your topic requests or questions in the Facebook group or in the Academy, and you will inspire our next topic. Or maybe we'll do an open Q&A next week. End off the month with some fun. Have a good, blah, blah, blah. Have a great week. Let's see if we can get some fireworks. I always forget. How does it do the fireworks? There we go. Yay. All right, ladies, I'll see you next week for our next Monday Masterclass. Go crush it this week. Bye.